In this short video, we're going to take a look at how you can link from IBM Instana through to DBmarlin to get deeper visibility into your database performance. So first of all, I'll show you how you can set up the integration. Within Instana, you go to your settings, you go integrations, database, and you should see a tile that looks like this for DBmarlin. In my case, it's already enabled. In your case, you would need to enter the URL of your DBmarlin instance here and then click Save. So then, having enabled the integration, we can then go into the application part of Instana, and we'll have a look at this application here called Bike Store. It's a very simple application. You can see we've got 3 calls per second going through this application. If I look at the dependency map, it's Tomcat JVM on the application side, which is making queries into this inventory DB, which is a Microsoft SQL Server database. So we analyze the calls going through this application. You can see if I sort by latency, some of them are relatively quick here, taking about 40 to 50 milliseconds, and then some of the slow ones here taking around about a second. So if I click into one of these calls now, we're looking at an individual trace. You can see that's the individual trace for this transaction here. This endpoint within our application server took over a second, and you can see the red bars below are each of the different database calls that this transaction made. So for each of these, if you click on the red bar on the right hand side, you get some more detail. Like that was the update statement, this was the delete statement. You can see which connection it went to. In this case, it's the JDBC connection for our Microsoft SQL 2022 instance. And then in between the text and the connection, you'll see this button here, which has been enabled by the integration that we just set up. So if I click here where it says Find in DBmarlin, that opens the DBmarlin UI that we configured, and we automatically do a search for that statement text that we saw within the Instana trace. And in this case, it's come back with a single match running against this instance, and this is the statement, and it's got 100% similarity score. In your case, you may find it comes back with a list of other matches as well with different similarity scores. But you can click into the one that is the closest match, and now what you have that you didn't have on the Instana side, as well as the statement text, you now have the plan. So this is a SQL Server plan. You can see the cost of each of these different steps, and you can mouse over to get more detail. You can also send that off to the Co-pilot, which is the AI assistant built into DBmarlin, and that will do some analysis of the plan. And you can see it's now coming back with some suggestions here, some tuning recommendations like this create index statement, and some other things that you may also want to try here. You can just copy these if you wanted to try that index recommendation, for example. The other thing you have is the performance from the database side. So we've got the database activity and the SQL statistics. If I wanted to see more details, I click View More. This is looking at the activity. If I turn on the wait event, you can see actually when this delete statement is running, over half of the time here is waiting on this lock. You can also see that on the chart at the top. So we've got a lot of locking going on here. The locks, you can also find out more by either clicking through to our knowledge base or again sending that to the Co-pilot. So the Co-pilot tells you that's an update lock for SQL Server, and what you can do is you can look to optimize the query and look for proper indexing like the one that was suggested above. So that means that if this is running faster, then it means that there's less chance of locking contention because the lock isn't held for as long because the statement's running faster. And the other thing you have in DBmarlin, if you go back up to the instance level here using the breadcrumbs, we have a blocking session screen where you can see overall for this whole SQL Server instance how much blocking time you had minute by minute, and also where the largest blocking trees were. So each of these, this is sorted by the amount of blocking time. This top blocking tree had 44 seconds worth of blocking time, and if you expand that, session 74 was blocking this list of sessions here with the red dots against them. And in some cases, you can go deeper and see, like session 58 in this case, which was then blocking a whole bunch of other sessions. And for each of the sessions, you can see where they came from, the client host name, the user, the database, the program, and the statement they were trying to run, and then the type of lock, which was mostly that one, but in some cases you may see other lock types as well. So that's how DBmarlin can help get to the root cause of database problems. So Instana, telling you when you've got a database problem, and then DBmarlin showing you why you have that database problem and how to fix it using the AI Co-pilot. So thank you for listening, and look out for more videos coming soon.